Represent, be counted. Yeah, represent, be counted. Represent, be counted. Represent, be counted, be counted. Represent, be counted, y'all.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's Wednesday, it's noon. It's time for another of our second of 5 Tiny Census Concert series. My name is Gene Grant. I'll be your host today with an outstanding group of musicians, just like we had last week. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Thank you for spending used to be the lunch hour. Maybe you're just getting up. Maybe you've been making art all morning. Maybe you've been, binge watching television all morning. We're awfully glad you're with us for the second episode of our Tiny Census Concert series. Now, we debuted last week as some of the best New Mexico talent ever assembled, and we really appreciate the rave reviews we got, guys. Really, absolutely appreciated that. Today, we continue to shine the spotlight on our own as we raise awareness of the 2020 census. Thank you for participating by watching, and please do continue watching for the next 3 Wednesdays right at noon, so we'll keep you in the loop as updates of the way the census is being facilitated, and I'll talk about that in a second, is continuing to change here because of recent situations with COVID-19, of course. The most recent change that's come to our attention in regards to field operations for the census, as you can imagine, in an effort to protect the public and for the census takers themselves, the employees, Census Bureau employees, you might remember they did suspend field data collection in March. That was last month. Now, what we do know is steps are already being taken to reactivate the field offices beginning June 1st. Now, whether that happens or not, we're just going to have to let May kind of take its way through and just see where that happens. But for the moment, June 1st is where we're going to be resuming the field data collection operations, or as quickly as possible right after that. Now, what we're going to do here today and for these Wednesdays, these Tiny Census Concerts, we like to call what we call edutainment. Our intention is to educate you as we entertain you. So we've covered a small portion of the education side of things just now. Almost time to get to the entertainment. Just want to mention that we are grateful to the folks at iCountNM.gov. Thank you guys very much for helping to support this. The Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Complete Count Committee, thank you very much for your support for this. We're looking for every way possible to get a complete count in the 2020 census, and those two groups are right at the forefront of that. We really appreciate their help. Now, artists have always been the social commentators and help us to invoke dialogue around important issues that we face in our community, certainly. Artists are social influencers, for sure, and have a unique way of reaching us in times of joy and also times of stress like we're having right now. Today and throughout the rest of the series, we're featuring an incredible lineup of artists, so be sure to stay tuned and call a friend or 10 to hang out with us right here on Facebook Live every Wednesday as we prepare to be edutained. I love that word. We saw an excellent and timely tweet this week that said, as you binge watch your 13th entire series or read a book or sleep to music, remember that in the darkest days, when everything stopped, you turned to artists. Let's turn to some of our best artists right now. In this first segment, we proudly present Andrea Michelle, Lazarus Letcher, and Gigi Bella. Andrea Michelle Lucero, professionally known as Andrea Michelle, is a native New Mexican, born and raised in Pewaukee, a town slightly north of Santa Fe, as you know. Andrea Michelle has won the Best Female Vocalist category from the New Mexico Hispanic Music Awards twice, first in 2015 and then again in 2017. Now embarking on her solo career, she is bringing her talents and love for music to New Mexico and beyond. Next up in segment 1 here is Lazarus Letcher. Lazarus Nance Letcher was born and raised in the Midwest, has been performing for over 20 years, loving nothing more than sharing the story of their people over the swell of strings. Laz, as we call him, is currently pursuing his PhD in American Studies, and their primary instrument is the viola, which has opened doors to tour throughout the country and the world. Pretty cool. Finishing up this first segment is Gigi Bella. Gigi Bella is the 2-time Project X Bronx Poetry Champion and ranked within the top 25 teams in the nation at the 2018 National Poetry Slam as part of the first ever all-Latino Project X Bronx Slam team. Her book, Big Feelings, will be released with Game Over Books in the spring of 2020. That's right about now. You'll also hear from Flavino Graziano of the New Mexico Dream Team and Dr. Nancy Lopez, professor of race studies at the University of New Mexico. So, Sit back, relax, join us in the chat down below with your feedback, and enjoy week 2 of the Tiny Census Concerts. See you in just a little bit.
Hey guys, this is Danya Duchess, and this is the 2020 census explained by puppies, kittens, and a pregnant lady. Come here. Look at that. Oh my god. This is going to be way too much fun, you guys. Thanks, buddy. This year, you can complete the 2020 census online or by phone or by mail. That's great. This is the first year that it's available online, which makes it easy for me because I can sit here and play with the puppies as much as I want. College students who live away from home should be counted at the on or off campus residence where they live and sleep most of the time. The 2020 census will inform how we spend hundreds of billions of dollars in federal funds every year. Pet stores can use 2020 census data to help decide where to put new stores. They like the facts. Oh my god. One of the things census data will help inform is where to build new roads. Hey, Fresh Concrete. Thank you. The census never asks for social security or credit card numbers. So that means your stuff is protected, okay? Oh my god, it's happening. Oh. The 2020 census doesn't count pets, oh man, but it does count everyone living in the 50 states, DC, and 5 US territories. Even newborn babies need to be counted even if they're still in the hospital. The census determines how many seats in the House of Representatives each state gets. Good thing to know. Will you help me get one? Guys, this is harder than I thought. Wait, ooh, okay. All right, this is happening. Go for it. Ha! The results of the 2020 census will inform how billions of dollars in federal funding are allocated to many programs, including Medicaid, Head Start, grants for mental health services, and so much more. Thank you for that. The U.S. Census Bureau is bound by law to protect your answers and keep them strictly confidential. Did you give me a fact? It's important to count all your roommates on the census. And there you have it. Make sure you complete the 2020 census.
Hello, I'm Andrea Michelle. The census is important to me because it will help planning for the future of our community. Being a part of a community is being part of a family, a growing family. This growing family has many needs. It is a foundation which our people are built upon to help us with the necessary growth and prosperity. From schools to infrastructure, healthcare, research, and more, this assures my family, my community, my state, the promise of a bright and wonderful future. Contribuyo, cuento, y nosotros prosperamos juntos al ser contado para nuestro futuro y el futuro de nuestros hijos.
Lo que debo hacer. olvido de ti. Dame la fuerza para vivir un día a la vez. Ayer ya pasó, listo, y mañana quizás no vendrás. Ayúdame hoy, yo quiero vivir un día a la vez.
Hi, my name is Flaviano Graciano. I am the Communications Director for the New Mexico Dream Team, the largest immigrant youth-led organization in the state of New Mexico. This Census 2020 NMDT is focusing on ensuring our immigrant and communities of color are counted by focusing efforts in the International District in Bernalillo County and the cities of Las Cruces, Anthony, and Sunland Park in Doña Ana County. For our organization, it is important that our communities know that they deserve to be counted because our future depends on it. And also that it is up to us to ensure that New Mexico gets every dollar it deserves this Census 2020. And lastly, no amount of fear-mongering will stop our immigrant and communities of color from being counted and becoming well-represented, well-funded communities.
Hey New Mexico, my name is Lazarus Letcher and I use they, them pronouns, and I'm here to remind you to please fill out your 2020 census. The census is super important to ensure that we get the federal funding we need as a community to help us not just survive, but thrive. I also wanted to give some pointers to my trans siblings out there that might be a little intimidated with filling out the census. You can use whatever name you're the most comfortable with on your census form. It doesn't have to be legally changed and it doesn't have to match what's on your ID. Whatever you're comfortable with is fine on the census. Same goes with sex. Like most federal documents, unfortunately, there's only the two options of male and female, but you can choose whichever one is more comfortable for you, regardless of what's on your ID or what's on any other federal documents. Your voice matters. Make sure it gets counted this year. Look to the leaves and learn to live. Lean towards the sun and let the light in. Bend like the trees in the wind. Roots running deep with fruit to give. Move with the tides, feel with the moon. Shine like the stardust from the womb. More than mistakes, love are you. You're holy, healing slowly. Holy feeling growing. You're never quite alone. You are much more than flesh and bone. You are a needed part of the whole. You and I, love, share a soul. And we're holy, healing slowly. Holy feeling growing.
My name is Nancy Lopez, and I'm professor of sociology here at the University of New Mexico. I also direct the Institute for the Study of Race and Social Justice, and have had the pleasure of working with my colleagues right around me as a co-chair of the UNM 2020 Complete Count Committee. We need your help. You are our trusted messengers on the urgency of a complete count for the future of New Mexico and our country. And I want to emphasize the urgency of not only counting people, but also having good data for civil rights enforcement on race, ethnicity, gender, and tribal status. What is your street race for civil rights enforcement? If you were walking down the street, what race do you think other Americans who do not know you would automatically assume you were based on what you look like? And that data will help us understand whether or not there's violations in voting rights, fair housing, equal employment, education, health.
As a queer woman of color, as a poet who's passionate about people's voices being heard, as a resident Nuevo Mexicano, I want to implore you to send in your census today. It is super, super important that we get counted in the census, not just so that we can, solidify our existence and let our government know that we're here, but also so that we can be considered in the important decisions that they're making on our behalf. These decisions are ultimately what makes our community a better place, or they're a really big part of it. And they all start with you sending in one form after you fill it out. So go ahead, grab that form if you haven't already, fill it out today, enjoy the performances. I am sending you a socially distant, hand sanitized high five. I know these are weird and wacky times, so I picked a poem for today that is one of my favorites to read whenever I'm feeling a little bit unsure about what it is, not only to survive, but to thrive and to be here and be here and be here. So if that's something that you're struggling with right now, is just the strength to be here, this is a poem just for you. I sing como la flor at karaoke, and this is no longer a saloon in Brooklyn. My t-shirt turns pearl-smattered bustier, and I become a Grammy award-winning bellow. Ay, como me duele. Lessons I learned from Selena. 1. If you leave a chicken in the house, there will be caca everywhere. 2. Always eat an entire medium pizza by yourself. 3. When the white boutique women won't sell you any clothes, make your own. Start a busticaca runway revolution. Bedazzle until your brown is so loud you could sew it into a dress. Tell them you won't be needing theirs after all. 4. Love is the red runaway car. It is the holster of hot sauce and the 12-second kiss sometimes. It is an angry father in a trashed hotel room sometimes. It is a mother's acrylic nails running through your hair sometimes. We have to sing about all of its hurt. 5. Sometimes, when brown is not brown enough, when the world expects you to be double-tongued and ideal Latina, you make them love you anyway. You show them what a Spanish song sounds like coming out of your mouth. You Spanglish your way into a smile. 6. After the death of Selena, candles were lit all over the world while her music blasted through car windows. Howard Stern played her songs under the sound of open fire, calling them tasteless and weak. This is nothing new. There will always be people trying to silence us with their bullets. There will always be bullets. 8. All I can think is that we are the same age, that all the brown girl stories that I know end in accidents and early death. My mother sings Linda Ronstadt from the kitchen, while my grandmother is Frida Kahlo molded into hospital bed, and we are surviving, and we are alive. Like the bus wreck that did not kill Gloria Estefan, like the rhythm that will not get us, the history that will not repeat. Como la flor, we will never die, despite the lies that pay for guns over counters, despite a world that only names us legends after we are gone. We will sing love songs to ourselves until the whole world can't help but sing along with our every emotion, even our deepest hurt. Como la flor, con tanto amor me diste tú, se marchito, me marchó y yo sé perder, pero ay, como me duele. Ay, como me duele.
The Census Bureau protects your personal information. It's the law. The Census Bureau cannot release any information that could identify you or your home, not even to law enforcement agencies. The law requires that your private data is protected and that your answers cannot be used against you by any government agency or court.
Welcome back. In between our Tiny Census Concert series, thank you to all those performers, Andrea Mitchell, Lazarus Lechner, and Gigi Bella. These guys were really awesome. I wanted to take a brief moment to address the importance. This is another part of the census that I really want you to think about, is confidentiality, as mentioned in the Your Information is Safe video in that previous segment. Now, rest assured, the census is not designed to acquire your personal information to use against you. In fact, any breach of confidentiality by anyone associated with the census is illegal, so that's not going to happen. Your personal info is completely protected, which includes your immigration and citizenship status. That's a really important part of the situation. If you are discussing the census with your friends, with your neighbors, with your relatives, immigration status is not going to be asked in your citizenship status, so please do take care to actually get involved and fill out the census forms anyway. Even if you have some question about it, you're going to be okay because your personal information completely protected, which includes your status. You cannot be released to law enforcement under any circumstances. That's important to know, guys. And as you discuss this census with your friends and loved ones, please do bear in mind that referring to Title 13 as it relates to census activities will always be your most accurate source of information. Title 13. Right, from the education and edutainment back to the entertainment portion itself, we found there is absolutely no shortage of amazing talent here in New Mexico. Man, let me take this moment to thank all the artists who have auditioned so far to be as part of the program. We'll begin segment 2 now with Anjo King, followed by Pat Malone, and then John Gagan is going to finish up with a closing message from Kadaji Bottom of Vision's Sankofa. That's going to be the final one in this segment. Anjo King is an Albuquerque-based DJ and creative who selects and plays music that penetrates the soul with ancestral rhythms and sounds. Anjo King's mixes celebrate the power of music that speaks to our spirit no matter where or what your background of the audience might be coming from. Hailing from Santa Fe, New Mexico, Pat Malone is a master guitarist who performs with professionalism, versatility, and pure energy. He's an amazing guitarist that captivates and inspires his audiences. Pat is a devoted following in Chicago, Austin, and Santa Fe from his live performances and is a favorite in the studio. I can't wait to see Pat's stuff. Now, John Gagan, best known for his tenure with the renowned guitarist Otmar Liebert, if you remember Otmar Liebert back in the day. John Gagan's distinctive bass style has been an integral part of Liebert's sound since 1989 when Otmar enlisted his services for the classic Nouveau Flamenco album. I've listened to that a few hundred times. Thank you for staying here with us. I'll rejoin you shortly for segment 3. However, if you have questions, comments, observations, props, throw them in the thread below. We'd love to hear from you. So we'll see you in just a little bit for our next segment on our Tiny Census Concert.
I go by the stage name of Anjo King, and I'm coming to you live and direct from quarantine. I'm grateful for this opportunity in partnership with New Mexico Black Leadership Council, and I want to give a huge thank you to the New Mexico Black Leadership team for all that they do. I have a very important message to bring to the public concerning the 2020 census. It is very crucial for communities of color to make ourselves visible and counted for because it provides informed information so that we are represented without undercut from being misproperly counted, and being misproperly counted results in federal funding being misallocated. In order for municipal lawmakers to make informed decisions for these next 10 years, filling out the census provides an accurate visibility within the data, which leads to evenly distributed funds for our communities.
now, y'all. One hop this time. Right foot, let's stomp. Left foot, let's stomp. Cha-cha real smooth. Turn it out. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. Right foot, let's stomp. Left foot, let's stomp. Cha-cha now, y'all. Now it's time to get funky. To the right now. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. One hop this time. Right foot, two stumps. Left foot, two stumps. Slide to the left.
Hello? Oh, this is census. Yeah, I want to be counted. I want to be visible. So, you know, count me in, and I will do all I gotta do to make it happen.
I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking and mixing and fixing the sauces, and I call you back. Running around in the city, I run it, I like it, I'm busy, so I'll call you back.
Hi friends, I'm Pat Malone, this is John Gagan, and we're here to remind you to fill out your census form. We all need to be counted, and here's a little census blues for you.
is Khadijah Asili Bottom, and the organization I work with is called Vision Sankofa, where our mission is to educate, elevate, and empower African Americans and African refugees and immigrants. The hard to count area we're focusing on is our seniors, with a special emphasis on refugee seniors and seniors experiencing homelessness. The census is extremely important to me and my organization because the funding our state will obtain from everyone being counted can provide necessary resources such as health care, housing, SNAP benefits, transportation, Meals on Wheels, senior centers, libraries, public safety, and more for our seniors here in Bernalillo County. With that being said, were you counted?
And we're back. Much thanks to those artists, especially Khadijah Bottom. Sorry for that mispronouncing of your name a little bit earlier, but grateful to hear from all those artists. I continue to be completely blown away by this artistic excellence we are privileged to share with you today. To find out more about all these artists, tinycensusconcerts.com. Tiny Census Concerts, all one word, of course, or URL.com. And did you know the census only takes about 5 minutes to fill out online? We haven't talked about that yet. In fact, while you're here with us enjoying the show, you could finish your response to the census form by the end of the next segment. It's that simple. We encourage everyone to self-respond, especially in light of the changes in field operations we talked about a little bit earlier. That's not happening right now, as you might know, the door-to-door stuff. We're shooting for June 1st for those guys to come back out in the street. We're not quite sure, so we're encouraging folks to, in fact, take advantage of the way to do it online. We don't want our numbers to be inaccurate, and the best way to ensure accuracy is to self-respond now. So most households received their invitation to respond in the month of March. You might remember between the 12th and the 20th, you got those forms in the mail. Those official Census Bureau mailings included a census ID, this is important here, which is needed to complete the online portion of the form. As I mentioned last week, if you might not have heard it, or if you lost or misplaced your ID, there is a phone number. It is 1-800-354-7271, 1-800-354-7271 for assistance to have that unique identifier. You got to have that to expedite the process. Census tract is one of the phrases you'll hear most often during this process, and you could be asking exactly what a census tract, T-R-A-C-T, is. A census tract, a census area, census district, or mesh block is not to be confused with your zip code, how we usually think about these things. It's a geographic region defined for the purpose of taking a census, which sometimes may coincide with the limits of cities, towns, or other administrative areas, and several tracts commonly exist within a county. You may also want to know which questions are asked on the census. Let me cover that now for you, too. Questions on the census include basic demographics such as the number of people who live in your household, the ages of those folks living in your household, and the race of the folks living in your household. Importantly, what the census does not ask is for a social security number. If you have someone asking you for an SS number in some kind of mailing, it's a scam, do not do it, or a phone call, do not do it, because they're not asking for it. The census does not need your social security number. Does not ask about your party affiliation or your bank account. They don't need that. Again, if you're being asked, you're being scammed, do not give it. It does not ask about a person's religious or citizenship status. I mentioned that earlier in the broadcast. The citizenship status is pretty important. You know, we need everyone to participate in the census to get what's due to us as citizens here, and that means all citizens, no matter what your status might be. All right, so coming up, we have a special message from Congresswoman Deb Haaland with performances by Spanish Broom Flamenco, Defy, and Tony Morgan coming up. Spanish Broom Flamenco is a music and dance collaborative in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The group consists of 9 musicians and dancers who are a blooming, powerful force as a true expression of collaboration and an intimate appreciation of art. Defy represents the Diné Nation with his performance styles, which encompass hip-hop, spoken word, and contemporary Native American acoustic. He was voted the best hip-hop artist of 2018 by The Alibi and recently traveled to Nigeria as an artist, educator, U.S. hip-hop ambassador with Next Level USA's residency program. Probably be a quick sec as I get caught up here. And last but not least, in week 2, as we sit here, is Tony Morgan. Tony is formerly a background vocalist for the legendary Gladys Knight. Oh my goodness, who she traveled the world with for more than 6 years. That's amazing. I find that astounding. You got to travel the world with Gladys Knight. That's really something. Tony has been performing in venues around New Mexico for roughly the same amount of time and has performed in local productions Roots and Roots Revival. We'll round out this segment with a great message from Patrick Jenkins of A Better You Academy and Luis Hernandez, founder of Go ABQ, and also from the West Central Business Association. Both of these men are business owners, and they have great information about how you can stay engaged with your students and clients and talk about the 2020 census. And I'll be back one last time to say goodbye for today. But right now, more music. Enjoy.
I didn't see you there. But if I had, I would have counted you, just like the US Census. As artists, we know the importance of being counted. When we experience art together, we're able to better learn, grow, and understand our communities and ourselves. By experiencing together, we exist together, and a creative existence allows for endless possibilities. Please support the arts now more than ever. We need them. Thank you to everyone who has collaborated in this project, Spanish Broom and Tiny Census Concert. And you.
Hi everyone, I'm Deb Holland, Congresswoman for New Mexico's 1st Congressional District. 2020 is a census year and we have a lot at stake. From funding important programs to representation in Congress, being counted and being seen by the rest of the country is crucial for the future of our families. New Mexico is one of the hardest states to count, but together we can make the census count because every person in our state matters. The census is safe, easy, and important, with options to submit online, by mail, or in person. Do your part. When you get the invitation, fill out the census and make sure your friends and family do the same. Let's make New Mexico count together.
Peace, what's up, y'all? This is Def I from Albuquerque, New Mexico, KNME Nation. I'd like to thank you for tuning in and watching the Tiny Census Concert series. Secondly, I'd like to encourage you, for those who haven't already, please go online and complete the census form. I really love our state and want to see more federal funding be given to our communities and to our schools so we can also improve our surroundings for future generations to come. And that's why I believe this is very much needed for us to be visible and to be counted for in the census. Thanks to iCountNM. Thanks to everybody out there once again.
My new album's titled Deserted Oceans. It's available on all streaming platforms right now, produced by Ariano. This is the first song on the album titled Gather Round. Here we go. Yeah. Never forget it, the memories, every entity generates energy. Better we working together instead of separately. Nothing and everything becoming one. None but the treachery, spreading our love to an enemy. Cause with integrity, summon the melody. Humming the therapy, lovers the recipe, drug is the remedy. Sharpen delivery, drumming out heavenly job. And heaven we live and steadily rocking forever, wherever we are. Carefully cherish our love for the art. Couple of bars, all for the charity, not for the charity. Mentally calm, but clarity. Remember my armor, cutting out jealousy, all the sincerity. I'm drawn to longevity under the sun. Remember when it was all just for fun. Whether it's tables, you're waiting, table, no labeling, arranging and breaks in a couple with drugs. Flavor is savory, cadence is catering, ranging from A to Z. Maybe it's favorably, maker is favorably, craving a wages of double the none. Yeah, running through shadows, humble we travel, coming on up from under the gravel. Bundles of ammo from hundreds of battles, arrows and shields, plus a drum and the rattle. Wearing all black, yes, I'm nothing but dazzle. I cover my tracks, warm up my raps, went through hundreds of hassles. I'm a wonderful mammal, crumbling castles. Up in the gallows, shovels and axles, duck with the samples, cultivate. I'm in my sober state, I know no hate. Let us grow to float away, roast and roll a J under the solar rays. Yoga flame on the road to the open lane. Make the most of day though, below the rainbows. I'm giving thanks for the time, growing old and gray, but the soul there's no decay. I'm out for dream trails in case you woke up late. But what if love is so potent enough to cut you open? And Cupid is the couple's culprit. Feel the rush and clutch the moment. Double dose on the drug you cope with. Mixing up the potion in a cup for cauldron. Weaving through this mess while the rugs get woven. Above the stove of my broken heart, but my arms are open. Yeah, we grown apart, but still we're going far. On this map we're throwing darts, running through shadows. Humble we travel, coming on up from under the gravel. Bundles of ammo from hundreds of battles. Arrows and shields, plus a drum and the rattle. So nothing's bedazzled. Cover my tracks, warm up my raps through hundreds of hassles. I'm a wonderful mammal, crumbling castles. Up in the gallows, shovels and axles, duck with the samples. Albuquerque, make some noise for Ariano on the beat.
How my Eagles doing? ABU Eagles, where we build better relationships. Listen, guys, I want to wish you a happy Easter and hoping that everybody's doing well. Do know I am praying for you. I'm hoping that you're in good spirit, you're keeping your mind activated, and just know I want you to remember to go and fill out your census. That's very important for the community. Keep yourself safe. Is important to social distancing. It's very important. So follow the rules until we get back together. We're just waiting patiently, trying to occupy the time until that time comes. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Hi folks, Luis Hernandez from the West Central Community Development Group. Our focus is on business outreach, where we have the opportunity to reach out to both large employers within Bernalillo County as well as small mom and pop businesses to ensure that everybody completes their census this year. The reason that it's so important to us here is that we just want to make sure that New Mexico gets its full share of the resources that we rely upon. We want to make sure we're out there doing that.
Hi, my name is Tony Morgan, and I moved to New Mexico about 7 years ago. My husband and one of my sons moved here, and we all got involved in the community right away. I'm grateful that I have been blessed to have the means to care for myself and my family, and I believe that it's my duty to help other people as much as I can. I work every day with kids in the public school system who rely on us to provide them with the ability to meet their basic needs of food and a sense of security. I know that the federal government uses the numbers that come from the census to help New Mexico for some of these services. I've seen firsthand how much good the money generates. So I'm happy to extend an invitation to everyone who knows and loves me to fill out the 2020 census. It really matters. I've looked in the face of some hungry kids, and I know it matters. And not only am I asking you to fill out the census, I'm asking you to ask your friends too, and ask them to ask their friends. You get the picture. Join me and my family in filling out the 2020 census in New Mexico. You really matter.
Lost touch with my soul. I had nowhere to turn, I had nowhere to go. Lost sight of my dream here inside of me. I thought I'd never make it through. I had no hope to hold on to. I thought I would break. I didn't know my own strength, and I crashed down and I tumbled, but I did not crumble. I got through all the pain. I didn't know my own strength, survived my darkest hour. My faith kept me alive. I picked myself back up, hold my head up high. I was not built to break. I didn't know my own strength. Found faith in my heart. I found the light to life, my way out of the dark. Found all that I need here inside of me. Oh, I thought I'd never find my way. I thought I'd never live that way. I thought I would break. I didn't know my own strength, and I crashed down and I tumbled, but I did not crumble. I got through all the pain. I didn't know my own strength, survived my darkest hour. My faith kept me alive. I picked myself back up, hold my head up high. I was not built to break. I didn't know my own strength. There were so many times I wondered how I make it through the night. I took it all that I could take. I didn't know my own strength, and I crashed down and I tumbled, but I did not crumble. I got through all the pain. I didn't know my own. I didn't know my own strength. My faith kept me alive. I was not meant to break. No, no, no. I've got to know my own strength.
Hey, as you've heard, your response to the census helps determine how billions of dollars are allocated annually for us here in New Mexico for things we need desperately, like public education, roads, even hospitals, and healthcare clinics. This year is the first year ever you can complete your census online, by phone, or by mail. We talked earlier about how the enumerators, folks going door to door, are on hold until June. So those three options, online, by phone, and by mail, is still out there and still viable. Make sure you're counted to help ensure that our communities have the resources that we need. Now, this is a big one. Have you heard about the Census Video Challenge yet? You're not going to believe this. The Census Open Innovations Lab, or COIL, is currently running the Get Out the Count Video Challenge, where participants are encouraged to submit their most engaging, impactful, and informative videos about the 2020 census. Right? The deadline for submission is now May 7th. That's a big change, all right? So May 7th, you got a little bit of time, less than a month, but this may incentivize you to get going on this. A possible $30,000 grand prize. $30,000 the census is giving out for this, along with a $10,000 for the runner-up and $10,000 out there for the best student entry. There's a lot of ways to win a lot of money there. My goodness, 30 grand. Just another fun way to stay engaged with the census, and definitely sounds like a good edutainment to me. For more information, accelerate.census.gov/video-challenge. I'm going to give you that one more time. accelerate.census.gov/video-challenge. And that'll get you hooked up for that video challenge. Now, this wraps up week 2 of our Tiny Census Concert series. Join us next Wednesday at noon to watch the next set of talented New Mexico artists: Isaac Aragon, Ebony Isis Booth, Christy Hines, Jeer Anderson, Manuel Gonzalez, Zachary Kluckman, Mickey Cruz, and Keshet Dance Company. What a great lineup. Thank you all for our talented artists today. We appreciate you all. In New Mexico's creative economy, keep doing what you do. The series is brought to you by Bernalillo County, the City of Albuquerque, iCountNM.gov, and Catherine McGill, woo, from the New Mexico Black Leadership Council. Catherine actually put this whole thing together. We thank her so much for doing this. You're a real asset for this community, Catherine McGill. Thank you so, so much. On behalf of Congresswoman Deb Haaland, Flaviano Graziano, Dr. Nancy Lopez, Khadijah Bottom, Patrick Jenkins, and Luis Hernandez, I want to say thank you for having me as your host, certainly, and we'll see you back here next Wednesday at noon. Remember to fill out your census form. Have any questions, leave us in the chat. So next Wednesday, we'll see you right here at noon. Until then, be well.
Represent, be counted. Yeah, represent, be counted. Represent, be counted. Represent, be counted. Represent, be counted, y'all.